I'm Debra Morrison, a 42-year financial expert.
Welcome to the We Can Do It Women movement, where women 50 and wiser step into the spotlight and make the rest of their lives the best of their lives. I'm your host, Debra Morrison, a wealth building expert who has championed financial empowerment for extraordinary women just like you. Yep, for over 47 years, I've helped women secure their financial futures, and now I'm on a mission to ignite a revolution. Yep, showing the world that at 50, 60, 70, and beyond, some of us might be a nickel slower, yet we're all just getting started. And our esteemed guest today comes to us from Dillsboro, Indiana, Misti McCloud. Misty is a certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and women's empowerment coach who reinvented her life after 50 by walking away from a traditional corporate path and building a business rooted in purpose, strength, and service. And she works today with women 40 and better, helping them rebuild strength, confidence, and self-trust through a powerful blend of fitness, nutrition, and mindset coaching. Her work is more about physical transformation. It's about more than physical transformation. It's about helping women reclaim themselves and step into the next chapter of their lives with clarity and power. It couldn't be more synchronistic. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very honored to be here, Deborah.
Excellent. So, Missy, let's get right into it. You, as a child, were an Olympic hopeful, had skating on your mind, and ended up with a severe medical trauma at age 12. Talk to us.
I did actually. All I wanted to do was skate and was just really focused on that. I had a lot of pain in my feet constantly, and my mother took me to numerous doctors. Finally, one of them said, "Oh, well, here's the thing." And the diagnosis and then the subsequent surgery on both feet, massive invasive surgery. And long story short, when all was said and done, I was told, well, apparently now we're suing that doctor for malpractice, and all the bones in both of my feet were completely shattered. And I was told I would never skate again. I would never run again. And I would probably be in a wheelchair by the time I was in my 20s.
Well, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? That's that is horrible, especially as a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, it was life changing. It absolutely changed the trajectory of everything I thought I was and everywhere I thought I was going.
I can't imagine it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So obviously your feet in really bad shape. How did you recover from that? How did you push through?
Well, you're assuming I recovered. I mean, right? Like, so there's the thing. The only thing that could fix my feet after many years of dealing with the lawsuit and everything else would be massive reconstructive surgery. And, no offense to any good doctors out there, I'm not really excited about the concept of letting more doctors operate on me. And I learned very early that, you have two options. You can, oh, poor is me, and focus on all of the bad things. Or my approach was suck it up, buttercup. What can I do? What can I do? Well, maybe I can't be an Olympic skater, but I can do this. And that continues to be my focus today. I would much rather focus on what I can do than what I cannot do.
Oh, yes. Yes, exactly. Holy moly. Then, so fast forward, you
Yep.
entered the corporate world as a single mom and
Yes.
ended up finding yourself at a weight that you were uncomfortable with. And you started doing a whole lot of things about that. So talk to us about that transition.
Yeah, so everybody has something, right? And my thing was food was comfort. Food was. I used to joke and say that my favorite night was me, Ben, and Jerry on my sofa. And if the pint came out of the freezer, it wasn't going back in, which is not necessarily the healthiest way to deal with emotional pain or physical pain. Yeah, I didn't want to be whacked out on pain meds. I ate to comfort myself. And, unfortunately, we are in a culture of if you're sad, have a pint of ice cream like Bridget Jones. And if you're happy, let's celebrate and go have a meal out. And it's not an illicit drug. You can get food anywhere. And there, I mean, right? So there I was, a single mother, of a child who had some interesting neuroprogramming, right? He's a kind of neurospicy, and having to live a life in the corporate world that paid the bills, that took care of my son, took care of me in the DC metro area where things are not inexpensive. And nothing I had ever learned in life prepared me for any of this. So it was really just a lot of guts and resilience, like 10 pounds of determination in a 5 pound sack. So that's just kind of how I got through. And then I found myself at 315 pounds, and I'm only 5'5" on a good day.
Okay.
That was very uncomfortable for me because inside I am still that athlete. I mean, come on, we're talking to women who inside we're still, right? I was talking to one of my clients today. She's 66. She'll be 67 in July, and she won't tell me what date, but she'll be 67. And inside, she's still that young, vibrant woman who, and now her body's like, it's not the body that she was used to. So we all know that feeling. And I think I was in my 30s, my late 30s, when I finally said, okay, I just can't keep going through life unaware. I have to do something.
Interesting. And you focused in. And then we fast forward to 2 weeks before your 52nd birthday. You had a pretty big event in your life. Talk to us.
I did after, raising my son and losing well over 100 pounds and keeping it off. And it wasn't overnight. I can assure you, this was before GLP-1 injections existed. This was tiny, tiny changes, sustainable, and then another tiny change, and then another, and really just fighting the good fight, right? There I was in a very successful corporate career. I was making good money. My son was launched and successfully out of the home, and I was single, and I was like, this is it. Yes, this is great. And then boom, layoffs. And it threw me for a loop for about a good solid minute or 10 or 20.
Thinking, yes, I'm thinking it was a minute. Yeah, a strange, powerfully long minute. Gosh, Neds. So there it is, a comeuppance. And how did you respond to it? Because obviously we can plan, we can plan, we can plan, and then life hits us and unexpected and things outside our control. And talk to us about how you reached inside and said, "Hey, this is how I'm going to respond to it." You didn't make a precipitous decision, as I read. Yes.
Well, so what I actually did was I took a beat. And the first thing I thought after I stopped kind of feeling that numb pit in my stomach was I said, okay, emotions aside, let's take a deep breath and go, gosh, thank goodness I have 6 months of my life expenses in savings. First off, that advice was so valuable, and it took me a long time to get there, but I was able to breathe. It wasn't like, oh my God, I have no money. I immediately stopped all discretionary spending. So mani pedis out the door, like nothing. I went down to the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy, baby: food, clothing, and shelter.
Yeah.
And I took an entire week of nothing, nothing. I was able to just sit and listen and look inward and talk to myself and listen to the voices that spoke back, but really check in with, okay, I don't have to feed a child anymore. I don't have to do the performative corporate thing. I had moved to Indiana and radically reduced my overhead expenses from the DC metro area, so I could sustain a life with less than just constant grinding. And I thought, okay, what does the universe need? What does the world need from me? What is it that I'm uniquely positioned to do? Because I love helping. I'm an acts of service person, always have been. And so I was able to just take a minute and go, all right, if I have the opportunity handed to me, because that's what a layoff is. Look, it can either be a sucky thing or it can be a door opening. And it was a door that I never would have walked through myself. So the universe was like, all right, baby, push you through that door.
Yeah. Gosh. Now this is a powerful question. I'm hoping that our listeners have caught this. What does the world need from me? And where do my talents meet that need? That's really a profound. I'm so we're so blessed that you're sharing with us that which came to you in that week of pause, right? That week of reflection. And that's a question that many of us haven't asked, perhaps as much or as often as might be prudent. Um, and then talk to us about how you then launched into serving women 40 and better on a whole host of fronts, and it's continuously developing. So you have a whole program that you have adopted, and your NASM certified personal training. Talk to us about that, what that stands for, because I had to look it up, and how you got from that pause, if you will, from the corporate layoff to doing your thing here with helping women.
That's a great question. So NASM stands for the National Association of Sports Medicine. They are the gold standard in personal training on the planet, basically. And so during that week, it really occurred to me. I kind of made a Venn diagram. I will out myself as a nerd. I made myself a Venn diagram of where really all of my strengths and my skills and a lifetime of knowledge and passion, right? And then where the needs are, especially in the community in which I live. And then let's face it, what can I get paid for? Because it's not like I could spend the rest of my life just volunteering for free. Wouldn't that be nice? So in the center of that Venn diagram as a starting point, I mean, even Oprah started as, she was a news anchor, she was a reporter, right? I'm sure you started somewhere, not the, amazing queen that you are now, right? But we were all princesses or ladies in waiting at one point. And so for me, the easiest point of entry, if you will, because I needed easiest, frictionless, and something that really took advantage of the skills and the knowledge that I already had on board that other people don't have. They
Right.
just don't, because we're taught algebra in school. We're not taught, here are what macros are. Here's how to nourish your body. Here's how your hormones will change how you have to nourish your body.
Yeah. And you had
Yeah,
gone through it yourself, dropping that weight and so forth. So, how does reconnecting with your body and health play this role in rebuilding confidence and identity at this stage of our lives?
that is such a good question, Deborah. I have to say, when women reconnect with our physical strength, and please hear me when I say we are told culturally, don't be strong.
Yeah.
Let the man do, that's man's work.
Yep.
Right? Whether it's taking out the trash, whether it's dealing with money, that's man's work. Women, we're still trying to get over like, oh yeah, don't learn how to brace your core, suck it in, make yourself smaller, disappear, be tinier, don't take up your space. Because
I-
how dare we?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
How dare we have confidence in ourselves? How dare we be strong? And when women reconnect with their physical strength, it changes far more than their bodies. It changes how we walk into rooms, how we set boundaries, how we make decisions, and how we trust ourselves.
It's nothing could be more true. And this is real good fodder for me. My next question is, how do you work with women who know there's got to be more, but somehow she's stuck and unsure. So the next step, how do you get her through to the next step?
So that's a good question because every woman is different, right? I have some clients who are like very, nope, I'm tough, I got it, right? And then I have some clients who don't yet know their own strength. And I like to meet my clients where they are, right? Not where I think they should be. I do not have a one size fits all approach. That would be great, but that wouldn't work because all women are different. And one thing though that I will say that pretty much most women, and in fact most women that I've worked with and most women I've known, um, their reinvention story, whether it's I want to lose 50 pounds or whether it's two of the women that I trained last year to hike, they wanted to go out west and they wanted to hike the Half Dome in Yosemite, which goes up to 40,000 feet of elevation.
It's high. Yeah.
It's very high. And they'd never done anything like that. And I trained them not only to do it, but to do it and come back alive. And they did, right? Because that's kind of important. But most reinvention stories, whatever the reinvention is, don't start with certainty. They begin for most women where staying the same becomes more painful than changing.
Yeah. And this is so critical for women to continue to fan the ember, I say, of what's burning in there that you haven't done yet. And you thought, I gotta try my hand at this because it's in there, right?
Yeah.
Somehow it's in there. And I love the way you say, you train them. I mean, I hike Kilimanjaro and it's 27,000 feet or something. And I crested, which is always a good thing. And I came back, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, you do.
This whole thing of climbing, I love it because there's such an accomplishment to it, and it's a progression which you can see and you can feel, and you're stepping it and so forth and so on. So I think that's an analogy for life, if you will, in that maybe you wake up and it's completely pouring rain. Well, you're going to have a different approach, but the mountain is still there, awaiting to be climbed, whatever our next mountain is. And so you seem to be very effective in getting women from more than survival mode and into thriving. And I commend you. Just give us one of your best success stories of a woman. I mean, this was one of them, the woman that climbed, the 40,000 feet, cheese and crackers. But give us another good example of a woman that maybe was a little stuck and you got her unstuck.
I'll tell you what, one of my favorite examples is one of my clients who, when she came to me just last year, she was 69 and she could not get up off of a toilet without assistance. And I want everyone to think about that, right? Because at some point, we all might be there
Yeah.
and we don't know what age. Now, she had had breast cancer. She had had a stroke. That took out the entire right side of her body. So she was still recovering from that. And she's had both knees replaced. She could not, Deborah, get up off of a toilet without assistance, which became a problem when she would go out with her family and her grandkids because it really limited where she could go.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
really collapses our opportunities, doesn't it?
Yes. So this was she started actually working with me in September. We were prehabbing her in July, like in June before her knee surgery, but then her doctor cleared her to come back to work with me in September. It is now May. Not only does she get up off the toilet, as I always say, get up off of that thing, right? Without any assistance, she is in the gym 3 days a week. She bought a sewing machine that is 3 times the size of her previous sewing machine, so it's almost 30 pounds. She lifts it on her own, puts it in the trunk of her car on her own. She calls herself a gym rat. She has lost weight. She has gained strength and confidence. And she shines differently. And it's not just me saying that. Literally, her therapist said it. Her doctors have said it. Her chiropractor said, I want to know who your coach is. Like every member of her family has noticed it. And, she credits me and I'm like, look, I'm just the GPS. I'm just the GPS. She's the one doing it every single day. And I cannot be more proud of anybody than I am of her.
Well, that's amazing. And I would invite you to take the just out of that. You are the GPS.
Thank you. That's so funny because I tell my clients, take the just out of it. It's a minimizing word. But you know what? We all need someone else to say that to us.
It's okay. And as soon as we hear ourselves saying something like that, we just circle back and say, no, I am the GPS. So you have been the GPS for so many women, and you are just getting started. I am so excited to have you here. And we just scratched the surface, but talk to us about how our people can be in touch with you, Misty.
That's a great question. Thank you so much. I have trainwithmisty.com. And I also have, if people want to connect, because I do also do public speaking and I do workshops for women. I'd love to work with groups of women because I can help more women at one time. And that will be connect with Misty and it's MISTI, but all that'll be in your show notes.
Right now. This has been a pleasure, and I am very happy to have met you in person, and at least on Zoom,
Yes.
and know your story, and sending you all good vibes for those feet, and applauding you for your perseverance and your unswerving dedication to this reinvention step, and being so generous with your time and your expertise and your body building nutrition background and your coaching certification to bring other women into their fullness, because that's really what is happening. You're addressing one thing, and then it hits another domino and another domino and another domino. And we all kind of know that in our head. But when it happens within our own being, when it happens within our groups and within our relationships, it is so enlivening. And to me, that's the spice of life. And you're really being a facilitator of that kind of thing for numbers of women. And I want to thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And it's an honor to be even just a small part of what you're doing for women. So thank you very much for including me.
You bet. And we are delighted to have you. And everybody, I want to invite you, and I am inviting you to be in touch with Misti. And thank you for joining us today on the We Can Do It Women show. Remember, I see you. I value you. And your greatest chapter is just beginning. And if today's episode sparks something in you, I invite you to check out our We Can Do It Women Facebook group for the camaraderie that we share and like-minded women stepping into their next calling. And I will say we can do it women, and there is nothing that's going to stop us if we put our minds, when we put our minds to it. So let's get on it.